I'm really excited about this project. I am going to show you how to upload an SVG and how to upload an image that has more than one color in it to make a layered design. We're going to talk about the difference between an SVG and an image. Then I'm going to show you how to customize that SVG file with your own custom image. So much good stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to my website, seanmosh.com. I will put the direct link to where you can go to get the SVG file that we're going to use. Click upload, and then I'm going to go to where I have that saved. The one we're going to be using is called Class of 2023 Customize. This is a true SVG file. You can tell that because when I clicked upload, it defaulted straight to save as cut image. I didn't get that screen where it said, is this a simple image? Is it complex? Do you want to remove the background? I didn't have to do any of that because this is a true SVG file. So now all I have to do is make sure this is selected, and I can tell that because it's got the green outline. And now I click upload. Now that is right here in my uploads folder. I'm going to add that to the canvas. I am going to ungroup those. I'm not really sure why the letters didn't come in exactly on top, but it really doesn't matter because you can move them into place. And where things are placed right here on the canvas is not relevant to where they're going to cut out. So even if I had this saying over here, doesn't matter. I'm going to cut this out of a burgundy color cardstock and this out of yellow cardstock and have to glue them together anyway. Now what I want to do is add the USC Trojan to this design right here. I'm doing that because my daughter is graduating from USC. First, I went out and found a USC Trojan image. You can tell that this is just an image because when I hover over it, it says PNG file type. Most of your images that you're uploading are going to either be a PNG or a JPEG file. What we're looking for in a good quality design is possibly something that's already got the background removed, something that has nice, crisp, sharp lines. See if I open this up. So those are really good, crisp, clean lines. If this was fuzzy or grainy, this would not be a good image to use. I also want to show you how to work with this design, even though it's got two colors in it. A lot of people will do images like this. It's one color, remove the background, easy peasy. But how do you deal with ones like this where the colors are stacked on top of each other? That's exactly what we're going to do now. I'm going to click upload. I'm going to go upload image, and I'm going to go to where that image is saved. Now I can select the image. I'm hoping that you noticed how this is different than when we upload the SVG file. Remember, the SVG file just went straight to the save as cut file. We didn't even get this screen. And this screen, we have to start to define the image because we're working with an image, not an SVG file. It uploads with the transparent background. I can see that because it's got the checkerboard behind it. The checkerboard means transparent, not there. I'm going to go with a simple image and go continue. If I go preview cut image, it's showing me exactly where it's going to cut. So this is the entire design of the Trojan head. So this very outer line. That's what I'm going to need to create the goldish yellow piece because then I'm going to do a second layer that's this burgundy. So we're going to go apply and continue. We want to save this as a cut image, and I am going to put a little tag at the end of the images that says yellow. This will help me to remember when I'm putting this into Design Space that this is the piece I want to be the yellow color. So now I go upload. That is how I created my first layer. Let's create the second layer. Let's go upload, pick the same image, pick simple. Now this time I'm going to use the magic wand and remove all of the gold pieces. So now what I have when I do a preview of this cut, I've eliminated the gold pieces and isolated this image down to just those crimson red portions of the image. So now when I hit apply and continue and pick this cut image, this would be the red. So now I'm going to select both of these and hit add to canvas. They come in huge. No big deal. Let's just scale them down to about 3 for now. We're going to play with them and figure out how big we want them. I am just going to move them over here so I can play around with them. So we can go over to the layers panel and see this is the USC yellow one, and this is the USC red. Now I could just click on this layer, go over to operation, and change it to a yellow, and then do the same thing with this and change it to a red. Or if I want to make sure I'm using the exact same shade so that it cuts out on the same cardstock, I can take this red layer and slide it up into that grouping. It's kind of like using a color picker. I just told it make those the same. So I'm going to do that this one too. So now those are set to the exact same color. Now all I have to do is move this and say arrange to the front. And really it doesn't matter if it lines up perfectly in here because they're going to cut on 2 separate pieces of material. I'm going to have to layer them by hand. So yes, I get it doesn't look perfect right here, but that's okay. I am going to zoom in on things. Now I want to place this Trojan on here. I am going to actually group these together because I know I'm going to want to resize them to get them to fit and look nice in here. I am also going to turn off all of my items that I'm not going to want to work with, like the burgundy letters and the gold letters. Really, I just want to leave the card and the Trojan here. There's no exact science here. I'm just going to resize this until I feel like it looks good, which for me is right there. Now I want a small offset around this that will connect to the card piece. So I'm going to just click on that Trojan and put in an offset. And I'm going to go a little smaller. Once I have the offset at a size that I like, and for me that was 0.05, I'm going to click apply. Now I'm going to turn off the grouping of the Trojan. So I just have the offset and the card base. First I want to select on the offset. Then I'm going to hold down my shift key until I find the class of 2023 customizable white base piece. Now I'm going to use my combine button and I'm going to weld those together. Do you see how that took out the cutting line between those two and joined them to be one big piece? Because of my Trojan design, there's a little dot right here that I can see that's open. So I'm going to go into contour and just close that dot. I'm going to turn that Trojan grouping back on and I'm going to go arrange to the front. I'm going to zoom out so we can see better. Right here, I have a score line. When you're making SVG files, in the program that you're using, you can say this is a score line, but a lot of times when you bring those into Design Space makes it a cut line. So I'm going to click on this line and change it from cut to score. And then this line right here also needs to be changed to score. I could select both of those and arrange and bring them to the front. So now you can see those score lines are there. I'm now going to click on the card base, hold my shift key and click on those two score lines. And I'm clicking attach. Attach will hold the placement and position of those score lines so that they land in exactly the right place. Now, because I did that, do have to go arrange and bring that to the front again. The Trojan is actually going to go on both sides of your card centerpiece. And that's because when you fold this, you see him both when the card is closed and then it flips open to face the other way. So I'm going to click on this grouping and just duplicate it. And then I'm going to flip it horizontally. So this will be the Trojan that goes on the back side. Now we can start to turn on some of those different things we had turned off. The yellow ones are the two that I'm going to want to bring to front next. And then I can click on the 2023 in the maroon and say arrange and bring that to the front. And this one. I am going to hit save because I don't want to lose my work. That's it. You took my class of 2023 graduation card and customized it to add the logo for the school that your graduate is attending. Now I'm going to cut all these pieces out of cardstock and then I'll show you how to put it all together. I just want to take a minute to review just some of the things you learned how to do in this video. If you want to learn even more about how to use Cricut Design Space, I highly recommend you purchase my Teach Me Cricut Design Space online course. This course is filled with over 20 videos. And if Cricut updates Design Space, I'll update the course videos. This means you'll always have the most current and accurate way to use Cricut Design Space right at your fingertips. This course is like downloading everything I know from using Cricut Design Space for years into one course. Now it's time to put all the pieces together. First, I'm going to fold the white card base on the score lines. And when you fold it, you're going to want that front flap to come over to the left so that it kind of unfolds in a Z or accordion type fold. Next, I'm going to set up all my letters and numbers and use my Zig two-way glue pen. And I love using this pen because it allows me to write with the glue and place it exactly where I want. So then I'm not getting glue all over everywhere. Right here is where I realized I made a mistake. And I left this in here just to show people that I'm not perfect. I mixed up the O and the 0. So this kind of stresses why it's a good idea to lay out your pieces before you start gluing so that you know you have things in the right place. So now that I have the letters attached to the larger yellow pieces, I can just add my double-sided tape with my tape runner and some glue around the edges. I'm going to place those pieces right on top of the white base piece. Now it's time to put the little Trojan head together. You can see my Cricut cutting mats off to the side here. I actually left the pieces on the cutting mat. I do this until I'm ready to glue them on because I am notorious for taking things off the mat and then losing a piece. And you get weird looks when all of a sudden people can hear from your craft room, "I can't find the nose." So that's just another one of my little tips is leave things on the cutting mat and don't grab them, especially when they're tiny, until you're ready to glue. As long as we're talking about tips and tricks, I'm going to zoom in for this next part and show you. I like to use my pin pen, which typically is used for weeding vinyl. But I'm going to use it on this cardstock project to help place these little tiny pieces, which are the nose, mouth, and chin of the Trojan. You can see that first I'm putting down just a dot of glue, but then I'd stab the piece that I want to put on top of that glue with my pin pen. This allows me to hold on to it and place it exactly perfectly. If I was trying to pick that up with my fingers, there's no way I would get that all lined up and in place. And now that we have all those little tiny pieces on the Trojan head, I can just put some double-sided tape on the back of them and use a little glue right around the edges and put them in place on top of the white offset. So then I have one Trojan facing to the right, and that will be what you see when you open up the card. But then I have to flip the whole thing over and place the Trojan that is looking to the left. Because once we fold this card, that's the Trojan that you're going to see on the front. I hope you enjoyed making this card with me. I hope you learned something from my tutorial. I can't wait to see the variations you come up with. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.